Tyler, why would you have squeeze candy Smarties? Where did you get this from?
So you got the cry baby.
Where?
Five Below.
Isn't that a clothing store?
No, I thought so too. It's
Wait,
not.
Five
So-
Below isn't a clothing
No,
store?
I thought it was.
Have you ever seen this
Should
before?
have been.
Yeah, I've never even seen Smarties squeeze
Yeah,
candy.
Smarty Squeeze.
It's tart and tangy.
Oh god, the crybaby tears and the brandy are an awful combination.
Where did you?
You
how
need a
old
beer,
is
Josh.
this?
I don't know about the
How
expiration
long
date.
has it been? Can someone fact check? How long have they been making Smarties squeeze candy? Like,
Well, while they're doing that, I'll introduce our show. This is Ope What You Think, Midwest's only drunken paranormal podcast. I am brought to you. We're brought to you. We're all brought to you today with our fabulous hosts and our tasty drinks. We got Mr. Josh Quinn,
Hello, I'm opening Jason's beer for him because he's
Senor-
researching.
Senior Jason Smith.
I don't know how accurate this is, but it says it was first made in 1949, but that doesn't seem
Smarties
right.
Squeeze?
when was
Yeah.
the last time it was made, Jason?
Oh, like the last run? I don't know. Like, look at that.
Keep researching.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
ever so tasty Isaac Sagafis.
Like Tyler said, I'm here all week. Did you say that?
I did not say that. You looked at Josh when I said that. Jason, I heard you brought us a nice story today that might involve a few parrots and a couple of boxes of Oreos.
You know, something about parrots like might lead people to think pirates. This has nothing to do with pirates, but it does have to do with a boat. So, like, that's something at least.
And the Oreos?
I got nothing on that one.
Oh, doggy. Well, take your way, Jason.
Alrighty, so we're gonna take you away up to Duluth, Minnesota. So if any of the listeners aren't really too familiar, Duluth is like a nice city up there on Lake Superior. Probably the second biggest, I think, of the cities on Lake Superior.
I was going to say, isn't small town syndrome from Duluth or by Duluth?
I believe so, Tyler.
Yeah,
I
punk,
just
band small
know-
town syndrome.
I just know that's where they make all the ballroom underwear.
For Duluth Trading
Yeah,
Company?
the
Yeah.
trading company.
Wait,
They
that's
actually
right.
make that
They-
in Duluth?
I think so.
Fact check.
I thought they made them in Belleville, Wisconsin.
Well, that's just like a distribution place, I thought.
The big building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, why are we doing a podcast about that? We should do it about men's underwear.
I like boxer briefs. They have support and, enough
My hands
freedom.
fit inside of mine.
Actually, let's not do a podcast about that. Jason, what happened in Duluth?
I was going to say we are looking for sponsors.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Anyway,
Duluth Trading Company. But anyways, like I really love the city of Duluth. Like, really cool place if you ever got to visit. Like, if summer, falls, spring, maybe not so much because everything is like melting and whatever. Winters are great too. Like, I love that whole like North Shore of Minnesota. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I've never been there. It's pretty, I hear, right? Have you been?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac also asked, like, are you from Minnesota?
Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah,
from
why do
Minnesota.
you keep talking about it then?
This is actually, believe it or not, the first subject I've ever had about Minnesota.
Okay, do you know what Minnesota is as far as Mimo?
I don't know
muh.
what
It's
that
mutt and
means.
Mimel. It's the hat.
It's the hat.
I was gonna say I don't know what that means.
You
but
know
I
what he
their
is?
Baseball team is bad.
Well, he's a chef.
He's got some fried chicken. Kentucky is the chicken and Mimel.
Well, isn't there like a frying pan?
Yeah, that's Tennessee.
Look at us. We're
I have
teaching you.
no idea what you
We're
guys
talking
are
about Mimel. Look
Are you
up Mimel.
serious?
Mimol.
Josh, did they not teach you that in school?
I just thought you were saying mammal wrong.
No,
Ty,
Mimel.
Ty, they taught us that in school, obviously, right?
Yeah.
You guys never learned that in school?
I literally had all the same teachers that you guys did, and I never heard about them.
Well, they failed you, Josh.
Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Alabama, Louisiana. It makes a little elf, and he has a tray of chicken.
That's not even the whole one because, like you said, he's got a chicken, which is Kentucky, and he's got a frying
you're
pan.
talking about like the state outline.
Yes.
How it makes
Would you
okay,
show him? Show
didn't-
him.
I know. No, I know. What
He
you're
knows what
talking
he's talking
about.
Anyway, back to the podcast.
I didn't know he had a name.
Yeah, I didn't know he had a name either. That's the first.
What,
Okay.
what else would it be?
Seriously, you guys.
Why
are
is the
first.
government hiding elves in our maps?
Wait, we should be doing this about Mimel the elf.
Yeah, I don't
Holy
know about.
crap. Yeah, cool.
I don't have any research on.
Jason, focus.
I'm sorry.
Keep learning it.
Segue. He fell off a cliff.
Yep.
All I asked was Duluth is pretty, am I right? And you
Yeah.
guys just went bonkers.
It,
It might be the gin.
It
It
might
might
be
be
the
this
App
expired Smarties squeeze candy from 1939 that Tyler found on a shelf in a clothing store.
actually, it was 1949.
I'm sorry, I blew up.
Mr. Buzzkill over there.
Mister, look at me. I'm Jason, and I do my research.
Hey, it's just the facts. man. Just
Alrighty,
the
back
facts.
to the podcast.
But yeah, Duluth, absolutely beautiful. Like tons of hiking places that are just really awesome to go to. Like, highly would recommend going up there. But if you ever are hanging around the city of Duluth and you're hanging around Canal Park, you probably noticed the giant ship that's just kind of like moored on like the side by like where their like hockey team plays or college hockey team plays.
There's just a ship sitting there.
Oh yeah, there's like a big old like 600-foot like freighter just kind of like
What?
So Duluth is like a port town.
yeah.
Okay.
So like basically like any or the vast majority of like the iron ore from like that like northern area of like Minnesota, like that was like the main port. So like they'd load up all like the talconite and everything like in Duluth, and then they would like ship it through like the Sault Ste. Marie, like the Sioux Locks there, and then down to like Detroit, Ohio, Lake Erie,
cool.
like to Pittsburgh and like all that stuff. Like, so like iron ore is like huge up there, like all sorts of mining towns, and like it's just like tons of iron up there, Otherwise, originally, this ship was like launched in November of 1937, named after William A. Irvin, president of the U.S. Steel Company. So like, they had like their main fleet.
They were just kissing up to that guy.
Oh, yeah. And like the ship remained kind of like the head of the fleet until, let's see, it was like 1975 or so. Right around that time, they started like having like a lot more like 1,000-foot freighters like out there on the Great Lakes. They rebuilt like the Sioux Locks and everything around that time so they could like have like much larger ships, haul a lot more iron ore, stuff like that. So this ship was like one of like the few Lakers at the time that had like a 3-tiered bow cabin. Most usually just had 2. So that extra deck, like they ended up using for like guest cabins or like any time where they would have like, special guests for like U.S. Steel or something like that. They would be like, hey, come on our like, main flagship and whatever, tour the Great Lakes, and they would just take people out and schmooze it.
So if you got high enough up in U.S. Steel, they just threw you on a freighter in Lake Superior for a week?
That's better than working in the
So
iron mines or as a steel worker, probably.
So yeah, what was on this boat? Like there obviously must have been something lavish for them to hang out in, right? Like a kitchen or bar area or something.
So like unlike a lot of like the other like Lakers, like it had like a guest dining room located like where like some of the other like facilities on like normal boats would be. There was like tons of the boat had like oak paneling, walnut veneers, brass handling.
Oh, so they were like, that's a bougie boat.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I'm just looking at pictures of it.
It's
Why did they make it lavish in certain areas? Like, why did they make it unique?
Well, this was the head freighter, right?
Yeah,
so
like,
so they were just went all out.
Yeah.
But if you look at the outside, it looks like a normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like this.
So it still did work.
Oh yeah, like it was like I think when it retired, it was actually like one of like the few like freighters that actually had like hauling records and stuff like that. Where it retired, like it didn't sink holding them, or like it wasn't like like put out.
So it's not a sunken ship.
No,
and we're on a paranormal podcast.
Yeah, it's still docked.
Yeah, it's still there.
Why is it still there?
Well, like at the time, like it was like because it had like those extra features, like if you like dig into like the actual like mechanics of it too, like it had like new engines at the time that were just like completely different than anything else that was used. So like it's kind of like an engineering and like nautical marvel at the time. Like there was like a lot of like new technology that went into this. So like if they were like ready to retire it, I don't remember if it was like the city of Duluth or like privately owned parts that, associated with Duluth and like kind of like that Canal Park area that were like, hey, this is important. Like this is like a huge deal for it. And like we want to save it.
Well, just for my knowledge, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like does Duluth do they build ships there? This wasn't built in Duluth, was it? Did you say that?
Like, I don't
probably
think they have too
Sheboygan
many,
or something.
But
right?
yards around.
So I was just curious, like if that's why they were attached to it, but they just it was just a huge thing.
It was like the biggest and best, right? So
and it obviously helped their city and their financial
and
structure.
For, like U.S. Steel, like if I remember right, like the route that this one took was like primarily like Duluth down to like Erie, if I remember.
Okay,
just
so,
a local boat.
It was like a very frequent like not flyer but sailor, I guess. Like
it was always busy.
Yeah, and it was always probably townies there on it.
So
exactly.
I guess it was a busy ship. We have the history here, but
yeah, what happened?
What
Jason?
makes it weird?
Yeah, why is it? Why are you talking about it?
So, like, kind of like they would have a lot of guests on, and like even just like maybe it's just something about being out on the Great Lakes, especially being like caught out in storms and everything like that. But just like it just had like sometimes just like a creepy vibe to it. There definitely have been like, or one confirmed like death on there from like an accident that happened on the ship. So like even to like this day, like with it being like parked or docked in Duluth and like, tours, people seeing it and everything like that, like people like hear noises and have even like kind of like seen like shadows and apparitions like in the engine room or like the boiler room.
So is that where the death happened in the boiler room?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, so like it may not have been in the exact room, but it was definitely like near it. So
that's probably pretty gruesome.
That's a terrible
like a death from the boiler, or he just had a heart attack in the boiler room.
Well, from what it sounded like, the crew was fixing like a leaky pipe connected to the steam broiler. May or may not have overlooked a couple steps like in the process, and like when you're dealing
who boiled Jimmy
the steam like and pressurizing lines, basically some of the pipes became pressurized. It exploded, killed one guy, and like really injured like 2 other people.
And the ship stayed up though.
Yeah, because like it was
kept
pretty
working.
like contained. And,
oh, really?
They were able to kind of like.
I'm kind of reading this as you're going along with it too,
but,
and isn't it kind of weird? What's the name of the guy that died?
So I believe he was from International Falls, Minnesota, but it was like William Worry. He was like 59 years old at the time.
So worried a little bit.
So he died on a ship named SS William.
Yeah,
Irvin, but still, isn't it weird? There's 2 Williams.
There's
involved.
probably a lot of We actually have a friend named William too, Isaac.
Is he haunting a ship?
I mean, he's massive.
He probably would haunt a ship if he could.
If he would actually,
like he would haunt it while he's alive.
But anyways, like with kind of like that like explosion that happened, I think it ended up coming down where like the chief engineer was kind of like suspended for like negligence because it was like
with or without pay.
That part I don't know.
This is the old days.
I think if you explode one and
take 2 weeks off, boss.
Basically, like it was a preventable accident that if they had like better procedures in line, like it could have been completely avoided.
This is really gonna really screw up their third quarter KPIs.
Yeah. What year did this happen? This explosion.
So that was in like 1964.
Oh wow,
So this is a modern ghost.
As far as ghosts go,
yeah.
He really liked the Beatles.
He had a TV.
Yeah.
And like the ship was like still going for like another like 14, 15 years or so, like after this too.
Oh wow.
So it's like
So they went that long without a death like this.
That's actually really on a boat like that. That's
not bad, yeah.
And,
Yeah, but the one way a guy died was getting exploded by a steam pipe.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant. I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely not ideal. Like I'm sure there were plenty of other like injuries outside of that, just because like you're working on like, a boat, an industrial ship and everything like that. Like the crew's maybe pretty small, probably like 20, 30
Yeah,
people,
but it's a bunch of rough, tough dudes.
But it was a fancy ship, so some people probably died because their steaks were too juicy and their lobsters too buttery.
Oh.
Buttery.
I'd love to see where they're pulling them like lobsters out of lakes.
Hey, there's some pretty big crawdads out there. You can
probably more like some whitefish and some like steak or something like that.
I'm curious if the fancy people that got to go on board like ate and hung out with the actual workers.
I'm like,
there's no
way.
way.
Some like downtime, like they might have just been like, oh, come see like the rough stuff crew.
So I guess the fancy people that would go on the boat, what were they there for? Just to see like, this is what a typical steamship looks like.
This is how you're making all of your money.
So it could be anything like that, but
or
they
just to
also
show off,
like rent out like cabins or whatever. It's like, hey, if you're just going from like Duluth to wherever,
so it's also a charter boat if needed.
It's very
cool.
not.
Wait, so I was imagining like late 1800s like steamship like Titanic.
No. Josh, are you not seeing the pictures of this thing?
But this is like in the 60s, so like
you see
we'll post the pictures on the Facebook page
this is like,
or Instagram page.
Like where Frank Sinatra would hang out if he wanted to do a cruise Lake Superior.
The boat looks
like any other freighter.
It should still be.
Like
it looks
like
it should,
like standard lake freighter.
Yeah.
Like it should still be sailing. Honestly, it looks awesome.
They didn't retire it because it was in bad shape. Like they just did like
it just wasn't big enough.
Yeah, they like I was saying before, they started like replacing everything with like 1,000-footers and everything like that. Like, it was just kind of like became a little outdated, and rather than just scuttle it or scrap it, like, it was just sold as like a historical kind of like monument.
So back to the hauntings, I guess. So people see a boiler room guy, William Worry.
Yeah.
And is that all they see? Like, what else happens?
So
where are they seeing him?
Like mainly, like I said, around like the like engine room, boiler room area like that. Otherwise, like in some of like the cargo holds, like there's like been like kind of like pretty commonly heard like either like chains dragging or like kind of like
that's terrifying.
Kind of like
why would he be dragging chains? He got blown up. He wasn't chaining stuff.
It could just be
maybe
like,
it's just the shrapnel that's stuck.
Or just like ghost ship kind of thing, like either different spirits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't ghosts have chains? That's part of being a ghost. I thought.
And like it could just have to be like, you know, maybe if they're like holding down like the latches after they're like.
Well, if you remember the critically acclaimed film Muppets Christmas Carol, you would know that all ghosts gets changed.
I don't remember that movie.
You remember it?
You remember that movie?
Really?
It's got Sir Michael Caine in it.
So is it just a museum now? Like, who's reporting all this? And did this happen when it was still active, or this is after it's been shut down for a while?
So like that's been kind of like people on like, because like you can just go tour it now. Like, you know, we could drive up to Duluth, and actually something that they this time of year like really do, and it is kind of like they really lean into the haunting thing. Like they do like a haunted house inside of it, and I think that's like.
Have you been to this?
I've been there, but not for like the haunted house thing. Like
that actually sounds really fun. I mean, this episode is probably going to come out after Halloween, but next year, and for listeners that can listen in the future, if that's something you'd like to do with us, you could always hang out with us.
Well, how far is that from your other story where you grew up?
So another story
probably
that
really
I've
far
done
away.
here is
really far away.
It's probably like 4 hours.
It's across the whole state.
Yeah,
road trip, baby.
It's
Get the
probably
cutlass.
like I don't know, 4 to 5 hours. Like it's just straight on
4 to
US
5
too,
hours
though.
up to you. 4 to 5 hours over there. Couple of beers.
Okay, the Cutlass is like our Impala.
Yeah,
that's our supernatural car. That would be good.
Well, so what else with the ghosts on this? Is there more than one ghost, or is that it?
Well, they've just been like different kind of like I don't know sensations of people being followed. You know, at least that like I remember like seeing. They have had kind of like I think Midwest Paranormal Files like was like in there and everything.
We hate them. We hate them.
Yeah, who are they?
I actually don't know who
they stole our bit.
They stole our bit. We've been doing this for years.
Do we know them?
No.
I
that was a Mo Sislak. He stole my bit.
He stole my bit.
Jason, I'm seeing something about a ghostly little girl on this when I looked it up.
Isaac, you shouldn't be looking up ghostly little girl.
What are you looking up?
Oh, man.
I didn't type that in. That's what it came up as when I typed in.
It's because of your search history.
Well, what a little girl be doing working with all these rough and tough sailors?
I'm really actually more concerned about that than William.
I'm worried maybe it was like somebody who was a passenger. Like
but you have this in your article.
That one I don't remember seeing, but
it says
it
very
well could be.
I'm doing my side research because I don't know anything about what you're talking about. And it says a mysterious child spirit is also said to haunt the ship's cargo hold. But it says ghostly little girl. It doesn't say anything about what they're seeing or hearing or...
People have heard or like felt like the feeling of being like followed around or hear noises and stuff like that. You know, some of it could just be like, it's like
it's just me, a ghostly little girl.
Yeah, I'm just over here
smoking.
Why would there be a girl, young woman on this boat? That's what I don't like that. Like, Josh, what do you think about those pretzels? Why don't you like this little girl, huh?
Why don't you like this little girl that I just brought up and I don't know about?
You know, it could just be like the spirit of someone that they like picked up while they were like sailing around the lakes or something like that. Some other ship that wrecked. Like, I don't know.
Jason just acts like it's normal because that's what they do in their state.
Okay, we don't know if there's a ghostly little girl. We do know that people hear things. There was a confirmed death on the boat. I mean, it's an old spooky boat, but it was used for a lot of work.
And like going back to those haunted tours, like the site that kind of like runs all that, I guess like 166 people had to be like helped off because they were just like overwhelmed or terrified. So like
carbon monoxide leak.
Over how long of a span? The lifespan of it being there?
No, like when they specifically do like the haunted boat tour, like
was it 166 people at once, or they keep track of how many people
over the lifespan?
No, over that last season.
Oh, just one season.
One season?
Yeah.
Holy.
Tyler, I don't like that, baby.
Well, we're going to have to check that out. I guess we'll start with Mr. Josh. What do you think about this one? Are there ghosts there, or is it a Ratatouille situation with some fat guys running a ghost tour?
I'm going to be honest. I don't believe this one at all. I know I'm usually
You're the guy that believes in everything.
Yeah, but I've also worked around a lot of boilers, and I'm going to tell you that there's just always steam leaks. And if you're walking through the under part of a ship that's dark and there's a steam leak in the pipe above you, it looks like there's a person standing there. Like, it will make the shapes.
The boilers aren't active though.
Yeah, Josh, this ship is just sitting there, bro.
Bruh.
I don't know. There's just something about this one that I just
doesn't pass a smell test. Doesn't stink.
Ask me what I think, baby.
Okay, Isaac, I was going to have you go after Jason, but what do you think?
So, obviously we know there was a death, so there's probably something. But at the same time, like kind of Josh was saying, it's a massive boat, and they're having a ghost tour, and it's like a tourist attraction. In a boat, there's a lot of places you can kind of hide people and do stuff. You know what I mean? So
what kind of stuff?
Well, let's not get into the logistics of it. Yeah,
Fister, hardly knew her.
Episode. But yeah, so I obviously believe in ghosts, but at the same time, candy corn, cream corn. You know what I mean, baby?
There's a difference. Jason, this was your story. What do you think?
As somebody who really does, lake freighter enjoyer kind of thing, as you do growing up.
Lake freighter.
I don't know what that is.
What was your childhood like?
What is that?
No, it's like you ever just look out over the lake and you see them out there.
Look at that boat.
Look at that freighter.
Look at how big it is. I bet you someone died in that boiler.
It's ripped to the Edmund Fitzgerald. Gone too soon.
Yeah, I know. We would have started with the music to that, but I don't know how to deal with the different licensing or anything.
Nah, we can't afford that. We're poor. If you want to donate to What You Think, give us money, please.
But I don't know whether or not you believe it's paranormal or not. It definitely has a really cool reputation, and it's really just awesome to walk around it. So if you're a paranormal person, it's cool to go around. If you just really I don't know they're
there's history,
it's technology, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. It's awesome.
I mean, I think, and this is Tyler, by the way, I think that there's a lot of history there, and I mean, boats are spooky. Being on an empty boat, that is pretty spooky.
They always are making some kind of noise.
Yeah, even if they're just sitting there.
That's a lot of boats.
It's on the water still.
Around.
It's not out of the water, right, Jason?
Yeah, it's still in the water. It's docked right.
Yeah, so I mean, there's gonna be noises. It's going to be spooky. Would I want to spend time in a boat by myself? No.
Any boat, brand new or old. I can't swim.
Don't invite Isaac to your yacht because he cannot swim. He's scuba certified but cannot swim.
I'll save you.
Strap me some oxygen. I'll be out there all day, baby.
But I am usually the skeptic. I think there's something spooky going on, and I'm glad they're doing things there because spooky stuff is just fun. That's why we're doing the podcast. But, I don't know. I think this is something we actually have to go to and see.
Pretty much every story.
Yeah, that's... I don't want to tell everybody out there to start a podcast because I don't want you to be stealing from me. But
don't worry, there's no money to be made when you're people like us.
We've lost a lot of money here. But, yeah, I think it's something we should probably check out. But thank you for sticking around for What You Think. This was a little bit longer episode than what you're used to. We're drinking Hams, Ab 12, Pickle Beer, Stiegel Adler.
Hi, check out that pour.
Isaac just poured a beer real nice. Josh is munching on some pork rinds.
I like pork rinds.
He likes pork rinds. We got some crybaby tears and some Smarty Squeeze candy that you know the history about. This is What You Think, signing off.